District 87 engages in racist teacher training that is now the subject of a lawsuit in Illinois District Evanston-Skokie 65. Teacher Stacy Demar is suing her district, Evanston-Skokie 65, for, among other things, the Courageous Conversation training program she had to undergo, which focuses almost entirely on race. It demands that educators develop their understanding of whiteness and challenge their beliefs about their own association with the relationship to racial privilege and power. She also had to undergo racial affinity groups, which segregate staff by race into groups to talk about race. District 87 also had racial affinity groups that were promoted by their former Assistant Director of Student Services for Equity, Dr. Raquel Wilson. These groups were characterized as safe spaces for healing, asking questions, and more. Why should you and the teachers in District 87 care about this racist training?
I did participate in Courageous Conversations about Race. I found it, I think Bob was there with me too. It was an intense workshop, but it was great. And I would like to see us require every single teacher to go through that particular training. Right now, we're working on requiring them, but it's not a requirement.
Who is District 87 Board President Judith Weinstock working with to make this racist teacher training a requirement? A community member requested via Freedom of Information Act the electronic handouts for the Pacific Education Group's Courageous Conversation Beyond Diversity training used in District 87. The Systemic Equity Transformation Framework shows under the knowledge category that critical race theory tenets are used in this training. Participants are instructed to complete a white privilege exercise, which they complete for themselves and for a partner to determine how privileged they are. Participants are instructed in what is whiteness, white privilege, white racial bonding, and white racial identity development. They are also instructed in what does it mean to be white. If you can grow up living around mostly white people, if you consider yourself to be an individual, if you focus on your intentions over your impact, and if you have very little tolerance for racial discomfort and respond poorly, you must have white fragility. The trainers set up a sort of mousetrap for the participants. So anyone who has any type of pushback is automatically put into one of these categories of either ignorance, denial, redefinition, or counterattack or competing victimizations, called the stages of avoidance. The training also lists some aspects and assumptions of white culture in the United States. It lists things like hard work being the key to success, the nuclear family, planning for the future, Christianity, objective, rational, linear thinking, and these types of things, which could be considered ingredients for success. But those are considered assumptions of white culture. And the participants are instructed that as racial equity leaders, among other things, number 4 states, I'm in trouble. People complain about what I've said or done. I listen and hear their concerns respectfully, but I only change my behavior or act on concerns as appropriate to further the work. I don't cave into any and all complaints. So this is an admission that the participants in this racist indoctrination are taught to ignore their constituents, who are the parents and the taxpayers in the districts that they are elected and employed to serve. Another community member obtained through Freedom of Information Act the invoices from Pacific Education Group and these Courageous Conversations trainings. District 87 has paid out over $143,000 since at least 2016 on this racist training. So what has 5 years of racist teacher training produced? According to the website niche.com, Glenbard Township High School District number 87 has only 44% of students who are proficient in reading and 43% of students are proficient in math. Over half the students in District 87 are not proficient in reading or math.
I did participate in courageous conversations about race. I found it, I think Bob was there with me too. It was an intense workshop, but it was great. And I would like to see us require every single teacher to go through that particular training. Right now, we're working on requiring them, but it's not a requirement.
District 87 teachers, students, and taxpayers deserve better. Tell the District 87 Board of Education and Administration to stop funding anti-white racism with your tax dollars. Let's get back to educating our kids. Email them at boardofelducation@glenbard.org or David_Larson@glenbard.org.